how many fucking WeakAuras do we need for this game? What's going on, everybody? Midnyte here, back with another video, and today it's going to be a short one, but one that I'm actually glad to see. We have an interview with the game director of WoW, Ion Hazzikostas, and he's talking about encounter design, environments, but more specifically add-ons and WeakAuras. Now I'm going to go ahead and link the full interview here in the description, as well as the Wowhead article in question. However, there are quite a few revealing statements that Ion made in this interview that makes me feel like they're going to really scale back WeakAura and add-on functionality more so than they already have in the next raid tier, and definitely in the next expansion. And I couldn't be happier about this, because one of the things that I hated as a Mythic Raider was trying to get WeakAuras to work, trying to understand the WeakAuras, and I just wanted to fight the bosses. And I know that it's an unpopular opinion. I know that my last video was unpopular because I told the truth and gave my opinion that wasn't the popular opinion, that was clickbaity, but it is what it is. So in this case, Ion states, a player might say this was a boring encounter because I was doing my DPS rotation for 3 minutes, except for the one time my mod told me to do something. And that's exactly what these damn WeakAuras are. They just tell you what. Like, the worst one was on the last mythic boss that I progged on, which was Smolderon, where they actually created that macro instead of, because they got rid of the aura, so you couldn't actually make a WeakAura for it. Then they created a macro to get around it, and that's what we used to figure out our Smolderon thing. So I'd like to see encounters with really awesome mechanics that a WeakAura doesn't solve for you. And it kind of goes to my philosophy as a World of Warcraft player, where I almost feel like World of Warcraft players in general are kind of lazy. And instead of actually wanting to fight the boss, they actually find loopholes to kind of maneuver around it. And it kind of soured me on Mythic raiding in general. I like fighting things straight on. Let's just fight this damn boss. So I won't go into details, but essentially what Ion does is state that they have a hard time designing mechanical fights because of the fact that a WeakAura counters it. So they have to add another mechanic on top of it, making these bosses so complex that it's actually harming the Mythic raiding experience. And I couldn't agree more. And in this case, you've got, Echo of Neltharion and the Silken Court, which the precision levels were so high that they almost became just a race to see who could code a WeakAura to get around it. And I'm actually in favor of this. I really am. I'm in favor of it because I feel like we as WoW players need to stop taking shortcuts. I know that's not popular. And I know that when you see this video, your instinct is to go, I just want a WeakAura that I can push a button or upload it and it does all the work for me. Hey, you know what? I feel you, man. I understand. I understand where you're coming from. You're looking at a guy who gets most of his stuff delivered through Amazon Prime because I don't want to get in my car and drive. I get it. But I think we as WoW gamers, I think we need to change the perception that we're a bunch of elitist jerk cheaters that use add-ons and codes and WeakAuras to get around all of the actual mechanics. And I think this is a step in the right direction. Once again, Ion Hazzikostas, when he does an interview and he leaves these little breadcrumbs, he's telling you what they're going to do without saying this is what we're going to do. He always does this. In an interview, he kind of leads you into the direction of where they're going. And in this case, they're going in the direction of, hey, you're going to have to start fighting these bosses, and we're going to limit the functionality of WeakAuras. And I think that's a good thing. I use WeakAuras, but I use WeakAuras for informational. And I think that's okay. I think that a WeakAura that tells you how much stagger you have is fine. I think that's fine. I think a WeakAura that tells you when it's okay to use this ability, maybe you need it to be flashy in front of your face, that's cool too. I think that's all good. But when the WeakAura tells you what to do and when to do it, I think that's bad for the game. I think if a WeakAura tells you, hey, like in Archimon, this article talks about Archimon where they had the lines and you had to find the right spot so you won't kill all your other players. that's something that a add-on shouldn't tell you to do. You should just learn how to position yourself. So all in all, I'm really happy about this. I can't wait to see this implemented, and I hope that we get back to the, I guess, the old school way of playing WoW that kind of died around, I guess you can say, Warlords of Draenor, where we just weren't using WeakAuras. We used to just fight the bosses, and I'd like to get back to that. This is Midnyte signing off. Please like, comment, and subscribe.